1992 was a life-changing year for me. I gave my life to the Lord Jesus Christ. It was down in Scottsdale, Arizona. It was just a life-changing in so many different ways. Um, all I can say is I was once lost and God found me through the power of Jesus Christ in 1992. A lot of changes happened in my life, but one of the main things that I experienced in that life changing experience is that I had a deeper understanding about the real truth because Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, according to John um, chapter 14, verse 6. He's the way, the truth, and the life. And so I was new. I was a new creation in Christ. But I started to understand what real truth was. And I started to understand a lot of ways that I had been lied to before my eyes were opened spiritually. And something else in 1992, there was a very, very popular movie that took place in 1992, A Few Good Men. And one of the most popular lines in that movie, Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson, was, "You want the truth, you can't handle the truth." A very, very popular line. That so happens to be the title of this message that I'm going to share with you. Um, the truth, there is a truth that supersedes, that goes against whatever truth that we may believe, and that's God's truth. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be asking you questions along the way. Can you handle the truth? I want to start by a true story. This is kind of comedic, but I'm just going to share this story with you. I've been, a musician, professional musician for half of my life. I've toured, I've recorded, done a lot of stuff. I was in a state. I'm not going to name the state because some people that listen to this, they might put two and two together, but it is a true story. I was in a state, very hot state. I was having rehearsals for a concert that was coming up. We were opening up for a very popular, very famous legend, Christian gospel recording artist. And so we were having rehearsals. So during one of the rehearsals, I'm rehearsing. I was actually playing drums on this gig. So, meeting a lot of new people, whatever. And so I couldn't help but to smell a stench. I was like, man, what is that smell? What's going on? So I'm smelling some stuff, right? And, I'm on the drums and maybe, I don't know, maybe 3 to 4 feet away from me, I'm still smelling this stuff. And let me give you just a visual picture. I'm just trying to be as graphic as possible. It smelled a combination of an outhouse and somebody who maybe ate some boo-boo. I'm just being straight up. Okay, so moving on. So in the course of rehearsal, I'm asking questions like, man, where's that smell coming from? What's going on? So somebody came up to me and said, oh man, that's brother so-and-so. He got halitosis. So I'm like, what? He got halitosis? His breath can't be just smelling that bad. So we know halitosis is like, okay, it's coming from your gut. It's coming from just, deep down in your gut, okay? So I'm asking another question. Well, if this is going on with this brother, why ain't anybody talking to this brother about this? Right? No, man, that's so-and-so. He gonna get upset, whatever. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? If I had this issue and nobody's saying anything to me, I would hope that somebody is kind enough, mature enough to, well, hopefully I know it for myself, first of all. Let me put that out there. Long story short, I couldn't take it anymore. We had our second rehearsal. By this brother, I always carry mints on me. I'm always conscious about, keeping the breath smelling right, all that kind of stuff, right? So I go up to this brother. I said, look, man, I don't know what's going on. I know I'm just meeting you, but I want to help you out. All right. If you want to, I have these mints for you. You could take one if you want to, but I don't know what's happening. I know a lot of people have been talking about this. I'm trying to make you feel as comfortable as possible, but I want to let you know that I'm here to help. Do you understand that this brother was so appreciative? He got into a little bit more of the issue, said, man, I have this going on. The doctor's helping me out, but I really appreciate you, not being all funny acting like a lot of other people, because he said a lot of people don't even talk to me about this. They just assume that I have a problem that I'm not trying to take care of. Here's my point in this. When you're mature, you're able to speak the truth and receive the truth. When you're immature, you can't handle the truth and you reject the truth and take offense. I'm going to say that one more time. When you're mature, you're able to speak and receive truth. When you're immature, you can't handle the truth and you reject the truth and take offense. I believe that I had developed enough maturity in me to be able to approach somebody with respect. That's the first thing that I believe that he appreciated, that I approached him with respect. I wasn't trying to make him feel a certain type of way, but I addressed the issue, and he appreciated how I approached him, and he gave me more information that he said that he couldn't even give to other people because they came at him and they were just making him feel uncomfortable. But I did tell him, I said, look, if a person is dealing with this, not knowing what's going on, you can't expect for most people to approach you this way. Okay? So, I want to ask you a question. Who do you know who has become your enemy because you've told them the truth about something? I'm going to let that marinate just for a minute. Who do you know who has become your enemy because you've told them the truth about something? Now, let me go back to what I said before. I've had to deal with a whole lot of hard truth in my life. Some of it I didn't agree with. Some of it was not true. But if a person is bringing me something that is just, say it's crazy, right? It's just offensive. It's the furthest thing from the truth. What I said, when you're mature, you're able to receive and cast aside something that someone is bringing to you that might be true to them. It might not be true to you, right? When you're immature, you can't handle the truth, and guess what happens a lot of times? You get all caught up on what this person said. You might want to fight. You want to get sucked into the argument, which they might want to suck you into because they can't handle the truth about maybe what you said to them, which may have been sincere. That's why I wanted to bring this true story about this brother that had halitosis. He had a lot of issues going on. He was able to handle it because I brought it to him in a way that was very sincere and that did not put him in a position that he had to look at me as an enemy, right? So, a telltale sign that you have an enemy is how they've handled or distanced themselves from you after the truth you spoke with them. That didn't happen with this brother. We became fast friends. I met him that weekend. When the Spirit of God is in you, who is kind, the Spirit of God, kindness is an attribute of the Spirit of God. Gentleness, long-suffering, a lot of different things are connected to the fruit of the Spirit, right? But a telltale sign that you have developed or gained an enemy It's how the person that you brought some truth to has handled or distanced themselves from you after the truth you spoke with them. How this might look. You used to talk to this person all the time. You had a relationship with this person. You guys talked about everything. All of a sudden, they distance themselves. Might not even be tripping on you, but communication has gone cold or gone south. And let me tell you something else that might happen. Some of us represent the truth. So that means that you might not necessarily speak truth a lot of times, but do you understand that we don't live by flesh and blood? We live by spirits, principalities, meaning that if you are of a certain spiritual demeanor, which is rooted in truth, righteousness, you're just a real person, right? Legit. You have credibility, character, integrity. Guess what will happen to flaky and shaky people or immature people? They will want to distance themselves from you. They should be the first, you should be the first person who they talk to, but in most cases, you'll be the last because you will speak the pure, unadulterated, 100% truth that Jack Nicholson was trying to tell Tom Cruise that he couldn't handle. That's the issue. So they were just like, man, do I have the plague now or what happened? No, you represent something that they can't handle. So Galatians chapter 4, verse 16 says, have I then become your enemy by telling you the truth? In this verse, Paul is reminding the Galatians of how well they received him and his message and asking why they have rejected his gospel. So they received his message. But when the gospel truth is starting to be spoken in situations, some people can't handle that. So you have sometimes, without even saying it, you create some people that might not necessarily be your enemy, but they will separate themselves from you. You got too much light. You're carrying too much light. And people that are in darkness, they would rather love darkness rather than coming into the light. The truth is not always pretty, but it's liberating. John chapter 8, verse 32 says, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. It's not always pretty. Do you understand that people who struggle a lot of times with you is because you represent the truth? They might want to make you into being a liar. They may want to just take you through all kind of hoops. It's like people that like, why am I always in a wrestling match with this person? It's because they don't understand how liberating that the truth is, and that the relationship with Jesus Christ should bring you into truth, not separate you from truth. It should bring you closer to the liberating spirit of truth and the person who Jesus is. He is the truth. So that should draw you closer to the Spirit of God, people who embody the truth. You understand what I'm saying? So you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. God's truth sets one free. Free to deal with reality and not fantasy. Truth is truth, whether you respect it or not. I'm going to let that marinate for a minute. Truth, but here's the issue. We have to know what the truth is. I didn't know what real truth was until I came to Jesus. The person of Christ, he is truth. Who he is, his character, righteousness, godly integrity, character, that should lead you in the truth, right? So no matter if I respect it or not, I'm not even concerned about if you respect me. But if I'm speaking the truth, and you know it's the truth and you reject me, what are you really rejecting? You're keeping yourself in a prison that the truth that I might want to share with you or someone else is trying to share with you could pull you out of something that you refuse to get out of. There's some prisons, some caves, some darkness, some fantasy that people will remain in until you accept and respect the truth that is being brought to you. Whew, man, this is blessing me. So truth is truth, whether you respect it or not. I have a question for you. Are you in bondage because you reject truth in your life? Or the truth that somebody's trying to bring to you? Who have you rejected because of the truth that they've spoken to you? I believe that telling the truth is a form of love. It keeps us and drives us into life where lies only leads to death, deception, and denial. Now, I want to give you a caveat in this. The truth may be hard to handle, but the truth of God leads you into life. It does not perpetuate or it does not bring about a spirit of death. This is what I mean by that. If someone, for example, say if you bring the truth to someone, right? And they want to bring something back on you, they want to bring you down a notch. They want to either talk about you or say something about you or accuse you of something or get you caught up in a form of darkness, or it could be name calling, something that is contrary to bringing you into life. People that are immature, people that don't understand the healing and the liberation that truth leads you into, they will want to keep you in darkness. If a person is triggered by truth, say if a person is a drug addict or alcoholic or whatever, and you mention to them like, man, you know what? You might really want to consider understanding that you might be an alcoholic. And the first thing they want to do is argue with you. And they want to find out some fault in you rather than dealing with the truth that you're bringing to them. That's what I'm talking about. So truth brings us out of bondage. People that are in bondage, they either want to stay in bondage or they want to try to bring you into something to remind you of some bondage that you might be out of. People that you might know. Or that's even how the enemy works. He's an accuser of the brethren. Truth is liberating. It's not accusational. Truth is liberating and it's connected to John chapter 8, verse 32. You shall know the truth. Do you know the truth about yourself? That's another question. Do you know the truth, the real truth about yourself? When you look in the mirror, what do you see? What do you see when you look in the mirror? Or have you tried to put so many things around your life to where you're trying to hide? The truth brings us out of hiding. I believe, once again, that telling the truth is a form of love. It keeps us and drives us into life where lies only lead to death, deception, and denial. Speaking and receiving the truth can be tough, but how we speak the truth is most important. The truth is sometimes tough. Sometimes there's no other way to say it than to say it and tell it like it is. But there is a way. God, through his compassion, through his love for us, how much he cares for us. Ephesians chapter 4, verse verse 15, excuse me, chapter 4, verse 15. It says, instead, speaking the truth in love, we will grow to become in every respect the mature body of him who is the head, that is Christ. So, speaking the truth in love, this is a question I have for you that finds it difficult to receive the truth. Do you love yourself enough to understand that what someone might say to you is not to hurt you? It could be to build you up. So don't turn what someone may want to do to help you into a toxic issue because you don't understand even the sincerity that a person might try to bring to you in speaking the truth to you. So instead, speaking the truth in love, we will grow to become, in every respect, the mature body of him who is the head, that is Christ, the mature body. So God wants to bring us, he wants to bring us into truth by training, by us going through all the trials and tribulations of life. He wants to bring us into a position and to a maturity to be able to speak the truth in love. Because we know how to handle the truth and deal with the truth as well, right? To receive the truth. Even if who we're talking to is immature and wants to tear us down because we're bringing them the truth. We will grow to become in every respect the mature body of him who is the head, that is Christ. I have another story I got to tell you. When I lived in LA, I worked for an organization called Taxi, right? I was a taxi mentor. I was a music screener. So worked with a lot of different people, a lot of artists, a lot of producers, a lot of very talented individuals. So one of the road rallies, which was a big convention to where a lot of people came, it was a wonderful networking event. It was really great. So I had a mentoring session, and a gentleman, he came up to me, he's a mentor. Everybody, they know your resume, they know everything that you've done in the music industry. So he knew, what I've done in the music business. So he's asking me a question. He was candid. He said, man, look, I'm going to ask you something. He let me hear some of the music that he had. It was the music of his daughter, who was an aspiring vocalist. I heard the music, about 2 or 3 songs. He said, Keith, man, can you give me your honest feedback? I trust you. You have a track record in this industry. I believe that you're going to tell me the truth. I listened to what he played for me. I forget the brother's name. I said, look, man, is there anything else that your daughter has aspirations to do? I said, because listen, I'm not here to tell you that, she should do everything that she can to be a creative person, write songs, whatever. But what he was expressing to me, that she had aspirations to be the next whatever, to get a record deal, all this stuff. I said, look, man, and another caveat. Well, no, more info, not a caveat. He told me that he spent a lot of money, right? He spent a lot of money. I mean, thousands of dollars on studio, equipment, all this stuff. I said, look, man, I don't believe that she has the talent for you to invest all this money in to have the hopes of her getting a recording contract. Now, can she just be a recording artist? Can she do all that? That's fine. But he wanted to hear my honest opinion. And I gave him the real truth that he was after. And guess what he heard? He heard sincerity. He heard compassion. He heard empathy. And he trusted my feedback because of my experience. That's something else that I have to really speak to some of you guys about. There's some people in your life that they can be in a authority in some of the questions that you need answers for. You need some specific truth about some things. You have some people in your life that can give you the answers. Don't be afraid to ask them the questions. The truth that they might give you, it might be subjective to you, but it could be the objective truth in whatever career field that you might be aspiring to get into. And guess what? He reached out to me after the fact and said, Keith, man, I really appreciate everything that you told me. I took a different direction. I'm so thankful because now the money is being spent on what she aspires to do in education. So the truth that I gave him set him free to go in a direction that she was happy about, he was happy about, and stop spending thousands of dollars. That didn't make no sense. So I gave him truth that helped him. I wanted to that's a true story. Now, what I always pray for, all of my pursuits, whatever that I do, I need to know what God's direction is in my life. I need to know what his path is. Lead me into truth. Psalms chapter 25, verses 4-5, it says, make me to know your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. For I wait all the day long. Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. For I wait all the day long. John chapter 3, verse 19-21. This is the verdict. Light has come into the world, but people love darkness instead of light because their deeds were evil. Verse 20. Everyone who does evil hates the light and will not come into the light for fear that their deeds will be exposed. Verse 21. But whoever lives by the truth comes into the light, so that it may be seen plainly that what they have done has been done in the sight of God. God sees everything anyway. That person is wrestling with you. They love darkness rather than come into the light because their deeds are evil. Everyone who hates the light, the truth is a form of the light. And they will not come into the light for fear that their deeds will be exposed. God already knows what you're doing. He already sees what you're doing. He already knows what's in your heart. He knows your thoughts. Before I had hair, he numbered all the hairs that used to be on my head. I can't hide anything from God. So the light that person is holding, that truth that they're holding, you're running away from them. You're causing our hell to break loose around them. It's because they represent the light and the life and the truth that God is trying to bring you into and set you free and deliver you. So stop running and hiding. Don't be afraid of the truth. Stop trying to make everybody out to be a liar because you're scared to come to the truth. I'm speaking to somebody right now. The title of my message, can you handle the truth? Can you handle it? We have to be able to handle it because the truth brings us into life. It brings us into life. I mentioned it earlier. John chapter 14, verse 6. Jesus said, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. You might think you're saved today. If you have not accepted Jesus as the way, the truth, and the life, you don't know the Father. And what you're going through, wanting to stay in darkness. True believers, they want to stay in the light. They want to speak the life and the light. They want to come into the light. 1 John chapter 3, verse 18. My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed. Let us speak the truth. Let us be the truth. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 22. The Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in people who are trustworthy. People who you can trust, people that tell the truth. Very, very important. I listened from quite a bit, not from time to time. One of my favorite pastors. He has a ministry in Fort Worth, Texas, called Adamant Believers Council. Pastor G. Craig Lewis. Oh man, I love this pastor. He had a word, I think a couple of messages, maybe a couple weeks ago. I can't quote the name of the message, but there are a couple of things that really struck me that he said I want to share. Talked about strong delusion. Strong delusion follows those who consistently and willfully fall away from truth. I'm talking about truth right now. Pastor G. Craig Lewis. He said, I'm going to say it one more time. Strong delusion. That means people that are led astray, that are turned over to strong delusion. Fantasy, they'll believe the lie, follows those who consistently and willfully fall away from truth. You're falling away from truth. You don't want the truth. Something else Pastor G. Craig said. In order to keep doing what you're doing in sin, you have to continue to close your eyes to the truth. So to continue to keep doing what you're doing in sin, you have to continue to close your eyes to truth. What are you doing right now? You continue to close your eyes. At a certain point, everything that you're running from is going to hit you. It's going to, the Boys and Men song, you're going to come to the end of the road. I would strongly encourage you to allow the truth that comes through the person of Jesus Christ to set you free. Open up your heart today before it's too late. Some of us have had the truth said to us over and over again. We're mature enough to be able to rightly divide the truth, right? When you're mature, you understand that there's some little kids. I worked in education. From the mouth of babes, God will speak some stuff. I'm able to hear it from wherever it comes because I have the person of Jesus Christ. His spirit lives in me. If a person's hating on you, whatever, you're able to know that too. You can just, okay, let me filter all this hate. Let me push this to the side. But I'm still able to rightly divide the truth. And I know this message is a little long, and I hope that whoever listens to this, that you listen through the duration. Time is running short. Each and every day where God allows us to wake up, it could be our last day. I hope that you heard this message from me and you will be able to say, this brother has the heart of God. He's trying to help me. Marriages, there's some truth that you've been trying to run from. Husband, wife, there's some truth you might be trying to run from. Stop trying to run and hide. I read it. John chapter 3, verse 19 through 21. This is the verdict. Light has come into the world, Jesus Christ. But people love darkness instead of the light because their deeds were evil. Don't let your evil deeds, don't let how you're trying to cover up your sin put you in a position to where you believe that God will not judge you for what you're doing. That goes for all of us. Everyone who does evil hates the light That person that you hating on is because they hold some light. You want to try to pull them into your darkness. And you will not come into the light for fear that your deeds will be exposed or already exposed. How many people do you have to take down and try to destroy just to cover up your evil deeds? Let them be exposed. Let God come and deliver you. But whoever lives by the truth, I'm going to leave you with this. Verse 21, John 3, verse 21. But whoever lives by the truth comes into the light, so that it may be seen plainly that what they have done has been done in the sight of God. God sees it all. He knows it all. He loves us. He loves you. I love you too. I hope that you listen to this entire message. The Holy Spirit inspired me to write this message. Do you understand that I'm speaking to somebody? That's the last thing I want to say. There are some ministers of the gospel. There's some of you that have been ordained to be pastors and leaders and elders or whatever, and you've been rejected by the church. Don't lose heart. God has still called you to minister. He still called you to share his gospel in the way, in the unique way that he's given you to do it. Don't let any man, don't let any system, whether it be the world or the church system, stop you from being the light that God has called you to be. I hope this has blessed you. It has blessed me. This message blessed me. So you be blessed. I'm going to be sharing more and more words of the day to encourage you. We all need encouragement, y'all. We're living in some dark times. God bless you. I'll see you next time.